Today we're looking at a new game called Arcane Odyssey. Arcane Odyssey is a game made by Vtex. You may know him as the guy that made Adventure Story, Arcane Adventures, and World of Magic, but now has made Arcane Odyssey, which is a revamped version of World of Magic. Arcane Odyssey is an open-world RPG game involving a massive story, different paths, and ways to play the game, and a whole lot of elements. Keep in mind, this game is in early access and is not finished, so everything I'm talking about will probably change in the future. Also, the game is pretty long, so I'll be focusing on the main story while explaining some of the core elements of the game, and get to some of the other parts of the game later. So, let's get into it. The game starts you off with a pretty good player customization screen where you design your character. You can also select an element of your choice from many different options here. After you're done, the story starts off where you're unconscious on a shore with amnesia, and you need to wake yourself up. You then need to look around the island. You'll meet someone by the name of Morton. He tells you that you've been out for a few days and that Tucker has died. You to escape from a magic facility experimenting on you, and tells you to go to Red Wake. After that, you're given a brief tutorial telling you how to sprint, high jump, and climb. They didn't really tell you about dashing, but that's okay. You'll figure it out really soon. Now dock your rowboat by facing the ocean and click the dock rowboat button on the left and head to Red Wake. The rowing in this game is really nice, but it gets even better with these really cool ships you can buy later in the game. After heading to Red Wake, it has been invaded by pirates. Talk to this guy hiding and he says you have to defeat 5 pirates. And this is where you get to test out the combat in-game. You can either use the dagger you were given or your own magic. The combat in this game is fine, but I wish there was a lock-on feature. A lock-on feature does sound difficult at all, but it would improve the combat drastically. And the combat later on is going to be really difficult to deal with. After killing the pirates, the town is saved. Head into the tavern and talk to this person. She will give you a room to sleep in and clothes that you designed for your character. After that, go back downstairs and talk to her, and she says to talk to the chief. She will also give you some food. Yes, you need to watch out for your hunger bar. When talking to the chief, he will say that something has been going on with the seas, and that you're going to see the hermit about that and prepare for it. So now the game introduces you to side quests. These are good ways to gain experience, and you have to complete 4 to continue. The game showcases a skill as a side quest called cooking. The better the ingredients, the better the food will be, and better food will give you buffs and fill more of your hunger. Some of the side quests are repeatable, like this fishing quest or defeating enemies, and fishing in this game is actually fun.
Bro, what did you catch, Dark?
What the
Oh my god.
What is this?
Bro, what the is that?
But yeah, grinding this game is going to be too much of a hassle. There are also skill points. You gain 2 for every level, and you may put them in vitality, which is health. However, reducing your damage, but allows you to use spirit weapons, whatever that means. Magic, which is your magic damage, your energy limit, and you can learn more magic skills the more you put into that skill. Strength, which is your combat using martial arts. You can master new techniques by completing certain side quests. And weapons, which allows you to use weapons abilities and stronger weapons as you progress. After completing 4 side quests, you will need to row or sail to the hermit. Sailing in this game is very pleasant, almost like you're playing Sea of Thieves. You will arrive at Silent Isle and you will need to get close to the hermit. It will play a cutscene where he's evil and he wants to kill you, so you kill him. This is easier with multiple people, but I imagine it's not too difficult considering this is the first boss fight. After defeating him, he will stop and leave the place, making the ocean safer. Now go back to the chief, he will thank you and head to Frostmill Island and search for his scout named Halfred about island rumors. When you reach Frostmill Island, talk to Halfred and he says that the island is melting due to a curse, and go talk to the mayor. Upon talking to the mayor, he thinks the island isn't cursed, but something strange has happened 2 weeks ago. The way to help is to defeat some guys at the peaks for information. After defeating them, they mention a woman with red hair in the distance. Go back to the mayor and he says she's using magic to melt the island, and go talk to Enzier about it. He then says the woman could be Iris, as news about her has been spreading. She learned lost magic, which only experienced mages can wield, and you need to stop her at the peaks. When you find her, she wants to battle you. Yep, another boss fight. It's not really tough, but I was with 2 other people, so soloing is of course more difficult. After defeating Iris, she is teleported here and says Take me back to Ravenna then, thinking you're one of the bounty hunters. You ask about the melting island, and she says her father was arrested by Ravenna's soldiers, and she is trying to sabotage Ravenna in any way. When she saw Ravenna banner, she started destroying the island, and she would try to find out why her father was arrested. Now go back to the mirror and explain the cause of the island melting. He says Ravenna has not been acting normal lately. They've been ignoring messages and only come here by ice, and that Iris went to the stepstones. Now you must level up to 40 before continuing the story. The game does give you time to do side quests, and I guess not trying to beat the game so quickly also gives you a chance to explore some places you haven't been to yet, and some other things to prepare you for the story, like forge your equipment, buy new armor and weapons, buy food, enchant, buy a new boat and customize it, and just get new items. When you get to level 40, you must head off to the stepstones, and when you reach there, there's a guy named Ren you need to talk to. He says he saw a lady with red hair pass by and climb the stepstones. When you ask who he's looking for, he says he's looking for someone important and that they're at the peak of the mountain, and you could possibly find them. After that, you need to head up to the mountain, which is a really tedious process. I guess the creator wants you to put the high jumping and climbing to use, but this is kind of annoying. When you reach Cirrus Island, meet up with Iris and you'll say you want to help uncover the Ravenna secret. She'll let you help, and she came to this island to know something about Ravenna due to interactions years ago. The only thing she knows here is that a few days ago, some hooded figures were dragging a bleeding corpse with a strange sword in it to the stepstones, which are not the Ravenna people. Now you need to talk to Ren, who's all the way down there. There's no fall damage, so you should be fine. When talking to Ren, you explain that there's hooded figures with a strange sword, and he thinks the person he's looking for is in danger. This person is named Beringer. He wants you to go back up and learn the symbol of the hooded figures. When you go back up, this man will say on Skycliff Island there was some loud fighting. He says to rent a skyship to get there. You don't actually pay for the ship, but the skyship is used for getting to places in the sky. It has a magic storage which keeps it floating, and to refill it, you need to be in the clouds. If it reaches 0, it will plummet to the ground. When you reach Skycliff Island, a cutscene will play with this hooded figure who will attack you. You defeat 3 of these guys to get their cloak that has their symbol on it, and then talk to Ren again, who is still down there. Ren will take a look at the symbol and say that he's seen it before, and he will search for Beringer now. He will also help figure out why Iris's father was arrested after he stops the hooded figure group. He will also say that he remembers an ancient library in the sky, that one of the books will help seek what both of you are looking for. So now you must go back to Cirrus whatever island by climbing the mountain again, or resetting. Dock a skyship and head to Myriad, and you'll meet Ren again. He will say that Rando put the books behind barriers, and Rando is the wisest man Ren knows. He possesses a growth curse to turn himself into plants and trees. Now Rando will talk to you in your mind, but to you specifically, he will say that your mind is not like a regular human mind. Later he gives you a book to look at. Now talk to Ren again about the book called Ancient Symbols of the Sea, which will tell you that the symbol is from a group called Order of Acer, a group who wants more power and magic, and this could relate to Iris's case. Ren will now search for Beringer. Now you must go talk to Iris about this group and that you need to beat one for information. So ask this guy for information about the hooded figures. He saw more than 3 of them, so you need to travel to different sky islands to find them. When you find them, beat 5 of them up and investigate the area. You'll find this guy, and he says the order already has Beringer and will have the possession of these sea curses, and now you have to fight him. This fight was difficult as this guy moves around quite a bit, and 2 minutes in the fight I was almost dead. He gets like a phase 2, and I think he goes nuts with lightning. This is still a cool fight, but like wow, he was tough. I also forgot blocking was a thing by pressing G, so that would have probably helped. After you defeat him, he just teleports here, and he says he's not even part of the order. He's just a Ravenna noble. He was trying to join, being sent to capture Beringer. He mentions sea curses were created by gods. When you touch one, you will absorb all of its power, and Beringer knows where one is. He was stabbed with a sword called Devourer that prevents the curse from shooting you out far away. and instead is absorbed into the sword. He had the cloud curse, and the group will not let him die until they tell him where the next curse is. Okay, and here is where you can make an important decision. You can either spare him or kill him. Depending on what you pick, these can impact the story in the future. Once that's over, you are given a clue to reveal one of the Order members' identity. And yeah, this game is going to be pretty big once it's done. Next, you head back to Iris and tell her about the guy you fought. She'll know the name of him and question the relations of the Order and Ravenna. You then tell her about sea curses, and she starts thinking if it has to do anything with her father. You both are now going to track down the Order and find Beringer. Iris will head to Silverhold, and you'll head to Sailor's Lodge to hear any news about the Order. When you arrive at Sailor's Lodge, go into the tavern and meet Morden. It says he's been following a suspicious group, the same group you're following. He's seen their symbol and recognized it, but is unsure where he's seen it before, and saw them head to Fort Talos, and someone around here can help out. So now you need to talk to some people if they can help infiltrate the fortress. A Ravenna privateer says there's a passage to the fortress on the island. After that, go back to Morden and tell him about the entrance, and he'll meet you at Fort Talos. You'll also need to sail at the back of the island so Ravenna doesn't see you. I should probably recommend leveling up a lot more because this part may be a little bit difficult. After sailing to Fort Talos, meet Morden and see that there is a trapdoor that leads to the fortress. Go through, meet Morden again, and he tells you to beat the guard and interrogate him. After the guard is beaten, you interrogate him about where the Order is. He tells you that he saw a centurion or a general walk around the dungeons with a hooded guy, and that they're still here in the quarters. Now talk to Morden, and he mentions you can go through the trapdoors above the doors. This part of the game I feel like used some work. There's a mechanic in the game where you can auto jump and do parkour, but here you have to manually do it. It would have been a great use of it. If you fall down, you get captured and be brought back to the start. And if you dash, you for some reason get caught, or so I've heard. When you get past this part, you still have to fight guards. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like you could take on the guards in the previous room without being alerted still, but that's just my thought. After all of that, you'll eavesdrop on some people talking about why ships aren't allowed to leave, that 30 people have been captured and were executed, and they heard this from someone named Taish. After you're done, you need to keep heading towards the quarters while being undetected. You'll reach a dead end and you need to head back to Morden. However, Morden left a note saying he needs to leave and that he'll meet you at Ravenna. Beat up this guard and he tells you that the general is alerted that you two were infiltrating from someone. So like, what's the point of being undetected when someone is already like randomly alerted the general? I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. A general is called Argos. He's been serving Ravenna since the previous king and he's in the quarters. After that, you have all the clues to reveal the first member of the Order, who is General Argos. Also, I barely fell here and I was still captured. The trigger for this place is really strict. When you get past, you will find Beringer all chained up, and he says that he was forced to give the information about sea curses with a potion, but he gave Morden, I assume, the fastest direction there. The curse is the death curse, and in a bit, Ren arrives to speak to Beringer. Now you must find a way to eavesdrop on General Argos and his quarters. Upon eavesdropping, the general says that the High Lord is on the way to collect the curse. People of the Order question it. Argos says he's the one to absorb the curse. You notice that Elias, the guy you fought back at Skyland, isn't responsive. Argos notices that you've been eavesdropping and breaks down the wall where you're standing, and it's time for another boss battle. This guy was pure agony. He can cancel off your magic by slamming his hammer on the ground. The best chance you can get attacking him is where he's on the other side of the arena. He starts to do different attacks the more his health is lowered, like this crazy slash thing, I don't even know. After one existential crisis and a Dragon Ball Z episode later, the place will start falling apart and he'll get crushed. He doesn't tell you anything, but you must leave this place in a minute. For some reason, it didn't work for me the first time, but the second time it did. And now you need to be level 93. I found that side quests weren't enough at the Sailor's Lodge, so I would suggest going to different islands if you haven't found some and do some of the side quests there. When you reach level 93, you need to reach Ravenna. When you get there, or well, Razna, you need to see what's happening at the center. Prince Revan is going to make a speech that King Calvis left for Frostmill Island, that apparently the curse has gotten worse, so the king left to speak with the mayor of that island. The prince goes on about how great the king is and the things he's done, that he will return shortly. After the speech, go talk to him and he just introduces himself. Now you need to listen to what the people of town are saying, like an odd time for the king to leave. You ask where the mayor is now and they say she's at Rubica. Go where apparently the wealthy part is. A cutscene will play where the guards announce that Mayor Tilly from Palatown has been kidnapped. Go up to the guards and ask what happened, and they say someone saw a small group of people carry her away. Now talk to the townspeople about the mayor, and they say they saw a group head towards the harbor. Gallius makes an announcement that the group exited towards Tiberia, and they send a small force to investigate. Talk to Sir Gallius again to report that he left from the harbor, which will confuse them with another report. You volunteer to help find the mayor and head towards Tiberia. When you get to Tiberia, there's a group of people below and you need to eavesdrop on them. The people of Tiberia are holding her for ransom because Tiberia is such a poor town. They want 50,000 galleons and they will leave. Suddenly a Ravenna guard arrives announcing that General Argos has died, so they're searching for you and Morden. They know your name, but not his name, just his appearance. This guy says he would have already known if you two were already in town. Perhaps this is the guy who alerted the general in the dungeons maybe? The Ravenna soldiers will give them their payment. When that's over, head over to them and they explain why they captured her. We'll also say that King Calvis acts like this town doesn't exist, since they are treated less than nothing. They took this as an opportunity. They say thank you for infiltrating the fortress and start thinking about a revolution. They also say that the royal family has dark secrets and instruct you to leave to the Shining Plains until things die down. When you reach this Shining Plains, you're attacked by a woman who accuses you of Argos' death and the disappearance of her brother Elias, that you either spared or killed. If you chose to spare him, the order will still kill him for failing the mission, and you now fight her. She isn't that tough to fight considering the open area you have. However, she does regain health. So if you do take your time with the fight, it's going to take longer. She pulls some crazy moves like some crazy combo attacks. I think she's more of a physical attacker than a magic user, or both. So try your best and remember to block. After defeating her, she says that King Calvis has returned and the guards are searching all around for you. After leaving her to rot, you will get a clue to the next member of the order and need to reach to the Ravenna Castello. You'll get instantly captured if you walk anywhere in the town's Ravenna, so make sure to be on the outskirts. Climb up the mountain and you'll get attacked by some random guy out of nowhere, causing you to go unconscious. He's revealed as General Julian. 2 days later, you are imprisoned by Ravenna. All of your stuff is taken away, and you cannot run. Talk to Talus, and he tells you that you'll be here forever to rot away. Sleep, and you'll be told to work in the copper mines. Grab a pickaxe at the entrance, and head over to your spot. This is actually a really cool part of the story. I like it a lot. A prisoner talks to you about how he was being against the leader, Octavius Caesar. Before Caesar ruled, the king before was called Nero Caesar. He wanted to create his own kingdom, so he attacked the strongest kingdom at the time, Wintervale. Eventually, Wintervale lost to Ravenna. King Nero used his curse to fly to Wintervale and obliterated the whole kingdom. He then used the rubble to create the Bronze Legion, and then one day it was randomly destroyed. People say that the gods destroyed it because of what Nero did to Wintervale. After you're done talking, take the box of minerals next to your cell and sleep. Every time you start mining, you'll learn more about Ravenna's history from the other prisoners. He starts saying that King Nero ordered to execute any survivors from Wintervale and convinces people that it was a good thing. They still execute anyone from Wintervale to this day. When Gallio heard of this, he left Ravenna and was captured later and put into the mines. Also states that the royal family joined the Order of Acer and says to look for a pale woman with black hair for more information. When you find her, she says she was imprisoned here for knowing too much of the order. She also says that the High Lord has royal blood and is revered by the people of Ravenna, whatever that means. Ravenna arrested her mother without reason. She eavesdropped on many times to know that Ravenna works with the order and that they're trying to find a Beringer. Everyone who was captured was killed, so word doesn't get out, and their bodies were dumped off. Pretty horrible stuff. This could be what happened to Iris's father. After talking to her, you can reveal the next member of the order, which is King Calvis. Put away your materials next to your cell and sleep. Wake up, grab a pickaxe, and mine away. You don't even talk to anyone this time. The game fast forwards a month, and the mines have been broken into by your friends. Warden was swarmed by Ravenna ships and had found the death curse. You tell them that the High Lord is who you're looking for. You're told to leave this place immediately, but grab your stuff first and leave the place. Guards will rush towards you, and Iris will defend. You'll run to General Julian. Morgan will fight him. By the way, this animation right here is great. You and Naviro will run into a throne room. And here is by far the hardest boss. He says that Naviro is the last prince of Wintervale and just teleports and knocks him out, and the boss fight starts here. If you thought the other bosses were agony, this guy is like playing Elden Ring blindfolded. He teleports everywhere, he barely stands still, and his attacks go up to 500 damage. Like, what the heck is this? I get that he's like powerful and stuff, but like holy. I guess during his big charge up attack, you just attack him a bunch to reduce his damage output when the attack releases. And that is going to be probably your best way of damaging him. I couldn't even do this by myself. Someone else helped me. Later, he got stuck and just lets hit him like that. And then he's just defeated. After a season of Dragon Ball Z episodes, he says that you are the key to their true goal. So they can experiment on you, and that you're already before captured by the Order. Apparently there's great power that's sealed away and soon to be awakened. The death curse was just to power the Order and Ravenna more. He took the throne at a young age, and the Order gave him power in exchange of information to play in their ideals. Then it goes on about how the seas will be destroyed and the peace treaty between Karax and Samira will be broken because he's dead. And then Mordin and Iris walk in, and Naviro wakes up. Then you finish off the king. You must carry Naviro to the eastern shore and escape. When there, you all rest up, and Iris says that she can't find a trace of her father, also will not be allowed back in Ravenna, for obvious reasons. You did kinda kill the king. Out of nowhere, Prince Revan comes out and fights you. He's pretty much a joke box. He's not strong at all. You must dock your ship and everyone will be on it. You're going to have to sink a Ravenna ship. If you don't have cannons, then I guess boredom and use magic or something. I feel like this part shouldn't be here, but I guess it gives an introduction to Ravenna being your enemy. You can hire a crew at this island where you can spawn at now, and they will be at the cannons, and you can tell them where and when to shoot. Also, I found this part that there's an excessive amount of Ravenna guards, making it difficult to progress. After sinking a Ravenna ship, head to Windrow Island, and Iris will just lose purpose because her father is gone and she can't return to Ravenna. She laughs loudly at you two being friends and alerts the Banneteer. You must defeat the wolves before the timer runs out? I mean, that doesn't really make sense. I guess it's the timer until everyone gets alerted, but it's not really gonna matter later. After defeating them, two of them are still alive and just head back, so like, what was the point of the timer then if there's two of them still alive? Naviro wakes up and then decides to want to go to Ravenna. He would stay with you, but he feels bad for Ravenna and wants to prevent a corrupt leader. His goal is to show proof how evil the kingdom is to everyone, and to bring a revolution. All of you hear a strange noise and decide to check it out. When you arrive at the noise, Ren will be standing there, and he can also fly. Ren will share some secrets that his real name is Warren. His homeland is the Azura province. He senses that you haven't had an awakening yet, which is where you can confirm your final build you want to go as, and you'll get special buffs for those builds. Ren asks where you're from, but the only thing you can say is that you and Morden escaped from an experimental facility. Asks about the Order's intentions and that they are to awaken something. Morden says you can spark your first awakening. He asks for your purpose, which is to stop the Order. He then says to do your first awakening, you must meditate in different locations so you can connect with your inner self more. The locations are at a waterfall, a silent cave, and a high peak. This is more of a cooldown point of the game after the Ravenna attack, so you're required to sail very, very far away to get to these locations. The first place is at Sandfall Isle, the second place is at Shell Island in the Ancient Hall, and the third place is at I think the Southern Jaws. When done meditating, an unknown voice calls out to you saying to go to Mount Orpheus, so head to Mount Orpheus and go through this dark cave. If you have a torch, it will help. The shadow textures are a bit glitchy though. When you get out, search for a temple, and this is where you have to commit to a build. Whatever your title says will be the build you're going, so you don't have to go with just one skill maxed out. You can mix and match. Right here is where all the builds can be made in the game. I'll leave a link in the description to the Trello page so you can look at all the builds yourself. Keep in mind that not every build is implemented into the game. They'll only come out in the future. I don't know what they may be, but not all of them are in the game. As you can see that they require a percentage of a stat, so yeah, keep that in mind as well. The rest of the stats will be refunded into skill points, and you may spend it only on the build you desire. You will be given a second slot for your build if you're doing magic or strength. Finally head back to Windrow Island and talk to Warren about the awakening. Warren will be leaving so that his homeland doesn't get into danger. The Corrects have a ruler called Wotan, and he wants to conquer the seas as well as being interested into the Dark Sea. He's a powerful guy, and you need to travel to Samira to speak with the queen to help them in advance for the raid. Warren leaves for Azura. Go talk to Iris, and she says that Morden hasn't woken up, so wake Morden up and go to the shore. A cutscene will play. Navarro has already left for Ravenna, and you all get in a ship in the next update. Dude, the script I'm writing has already reached 5,000 words, and I'm not even done yet, so let's begin. Fame. This is basically an honor system in the game. You can either be good or bad. Good will have its benefits, as you can recruit better people to be in your crew the more fame you get. And bad can be really cool because you can destroy towns and be in cool hideouts, become wanted on the bounty board and stuff. I don't really know what it does, but my friend got in a lot of trouble in the early game. It just disappeared.
What are you guys to my boat? Oh, it's the Navy. That's why they crashed into my. Oh, you guys are gonna. Oh. Oh. This is scary.
Treasure charts are like clue scrolls, I think, from RuneScape, where they give you a specific clue and you must do it and dig up for treasure. These are actually kind of a good way to get like good loot. There's a completion for each island for those completionists. When you get back to Ravenna, you put on disguise. It's a little cool detail. There's a shark that just kills everyone.
Oh, we lost one. We lost one. We have to
The
wait.
shark!
Oh my god!
You can emote with B, and if you're close to someone, it will say in chat that you're emoting with someone, like in the game Destiny. Your magic charge changes depending on your level. It looks pretty cool. You can sell cargo from one island to another island. The further the distance will be, the better it will sell. So selling from Ravenna to Redwake is basically double the value of cargo. However, I wish there was a better way of buying and selling cargo, because doing that one by one is extremely time consuming. So maybe in the future your crew can help out or something? I don't know. There's armor that doesn't only give you armor, they can give you different stats. The bounty board is pretty cool. You can choose someone to hunt off there, and it tells you where they were last sighted. You don't get paid as that many galleons though. It's barely even close to that number. There's side quests that are negative for, I guess, if you want to be evil in this game. There's news articles that occasionally get sent to your inbox about people in-game capturing criminals or wiping out the Navy. You can clear out your notoriety if you're evil. Enchanting your items is like how it works in Terraria, where you can get a random modifier that boosts a certain stat. Forging an item will just increase its stats. You can find castaways and either save them or plunder them. If saved, you'll get fame and random fish. Plundering, I assume you will just get loot, but maybe lower your fame. I don't know. The map is really well made. I appreciate how they kept the player marker on there. VTEX was trying to make it so we'll learn navigation, but that would just seem annoying. And now the Dark Sea. Do not go there. It will kill you as soon as you enter. It acts like a border for the map, but a really deadly one. I should also mention the Dark Sea is meant to be a sandbox endgame type of area where new things will constantly be added due to its random nature, and it's a perfect place for mysteries, for challenging enemies, random spawning islands, and giant sea monsters, and a lot more. But right now it has no purpose but to kill you. So when it does get updated, that'll be pretty fun actually, but that does like post end game content. And that's pretty much all I have to talk about. This game is very impressive, the amount of details and how fluid the game feels, but of course not everything is going to be perfect. In conclusion, Arcane Odyssey is one of the best RPG games to exist on Roblox currently. With an interesting story it has, to the wide adventure you can take, to a game that actually functions how it should be. Of course, combat is an issue as it feels unfair, and the level requirements for the story don't quite add up when you start a boss fight. And just some things don't make sense, like sneaking into the Ravenna Fortress, which sounds cool on paper, but the execution could have been better. However, it doesn't stop me from playing this game. It's very easy to play hours and hours, even just doing the little things in the game. I like the direction it's going, and I hope in future updates that this game continues to grow and it exceed expectations.